shows up. But I gotta run downstairs. Let's see, where should I set this up? Maybe that's better. We'll be back. PMac movies here. Do we have anybody in the hizzy? No, we don't. Slow one tonight. Alright, got a stack of movies I can talk about if I want to. Is that Jennifer in the hizzy? Hey, Jennifer. We are in the movie room. Just getting started here. I'm good. How are you? It's nice to not be doing big work on this every day anymore. It was a big task, full-time work, practically, for full-time when I wasn't at work. Kenneth Wilson in the hizzy. How are you doing, Kenneth? I have a stack of movies here that it's kind of a mix of things that I think aren't talked about a lot, possibly some of them being guilty pleasures, some of them being good movies that aren't talked about a whole lot in my opinion. Some of them, maybe not necessarily good movies, but are guilty pleasures that, again, don't get talked about a whole lot. So we have a stack here, so we'll see what happens, and I'll talk about some of these movies. I will say I did watch the new Flash movie today, and I thought it was pretty solid. Nothing totally great, but I thought it was, especially one aspect of it was pretty cool, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. So one movie that's, I believe this was like a direct-to-video movie that I got because it, basically because it kind of looked, it sounded kind of cool, and it had a cool cover. It was pretty affordable too when it first came out. I think Target had the buy two, get one, and there was like a 10 or 15% off cartwheel at the time. So I decided to get it, and it was actually quite good. And it is Flashback here on Blu-ray with what I think is a really kind of cool looking cover. The white and the black and the blue, and it's like a glossy slip cover. I like Dylan O'Brien. I might even have to find more Dylan O'Brien movies. I don't know, has he really been in that many movies? I believe he was the main, he was the main guy in the Maze Runner movies, but He's been in some other stuff. That was an American Assassin movie, which I could go grab off the shelf if I wasn't lazy and felt like sitting in a chair. But I really like this one. Basement Blues in the hizzy. The Tone Zone's in the hizzy. But Flashback, really good, underrated movie that I hear nobody talking about. Who out there has seen Flashback? I think it's a good one. Actually, one that I need to watch again because I watched this years ago when it came out, and I have not watched it again. This mind-bending thriller, they call it, and I thought it was really kind of a mind-bending thriller. Surprised this movie didn't, not necessarily was like a huge hit, but you really like don't hear much about it. Like, it could have become kind of a cult classic type of thing, like a Donnie Darko, but you never really hear much about it. I mean, Donnie Darko back in the day, barely anybody talked about. And then it got to the point where, you know, Arrow Video's releasing the big, thick, limited edition box sets of it, and then the 4K. I mean, Donnie Darko, in the theater, I don't know, was it in, it might have had a very brief theater run. I'm not quite sure, but, so Flashback. Anybody else seen Flashback? Looks like a no, maybe. This is another really good one, and this is a Draft House Films release. Really good movie, The Invitation here, starring another underrated actor. Sorry, the lighting in here is bad. Another underrated actor, Logan Marshall Green. He's really good. He's good in anything I've seen him in. He's also the guy in, what was that movie? I got it somewhere over here. Starts with a U. It's a really good movie though. Upgrade, another Logan Marshall Green movie, and he was also in a show from Cinemax where he was like a military veteran, and he comes back and he's involved in some crazy crap. He's really good in that too, which it only lasted for one season, maybe only like 10 episodes. And the name of that one escapes me also, but it was good. This is a really intense movie, where him and his significant other go to like a dinner party, and some crazy crap happens. Again, I don't want to give much away, but some crazy crap happens. It's a pretty like unique experience. I thought, really good one. Kenneth is asking Basement Blues. Link to get movies put out by Stinky Tuna. I remember hearing Basement Blues talk about Stinky Tuna, and he actually had to have somebody else buy them for him, I think, because it's like hard to get into their site now. I'm just looking at this case. It's really weird how it's messed up. But anyway, I actually have tried to get into Stinky Tuna also, and it's weird how they don't don't let you in. Yeah, that's what Basement Blues says. He hasn't been able to order for several years now, which is my experience also, which is probably might be a good thing. I remember I bought Beastmaster from Stinky Tuna for like $15 or something, and then Vinegar Syndrome released it like maybe a few months later. I wasn't too happy about that one. Another great movie that I think seems to be underrated. You don't really hear too many people talk about it. Possibly my favorite Kino Lorber ever, possibly. It's this baby here. Le Professionnel here, starring Jean-Paul Belmondo. Really good like combination of action, humor. you know, kind of thriller aspects. I believe, yeah, Jean-Paul Belmondo's character is a spy, and it really does a good job of like combining serious aspects and humor aspects. It's like a almost like a James Bond sort of thing, except better in my opinion. I really like this one. I really had a fun time with it. We call this one a PMac Classic 5 out of 5. Boom. I love that one. I gotta watch that one again too. Absolutely. This one I remember being a real fun one too. Not up to the level of those other movies I've shown so far, but just a really fun movie that actually RLJE put out. Looks like it was a Shudder movie. It is Mayhem here. We got the 4K, Stephen Yeun and Samara Weaving. This was a really fun movie, I remember. Again, I could probably rewatch it. I remember it just being really entertaining. It has the Stephen Yeun from Walking Dead fame, I think, is probably his main thing. I don't really remember seeing him in too much else, but that was a good one. Mayhem. Crazy. Some crazy stuff. Is it subtitles? Yes, the Jean-Paul Belmondo movie, Le Professionnel, is French. Yes, it is. Up next, this is a foreign movie. It is not a lot of several of these have been more like fast-paced action kind of stuff. This is more of a like total drama, and it is Mads Mikkelsen in The Hunt, which Mads Mikkelsen, just a fantastic actor, one of the best currently in my opinion, just great. This is a Danish movie. And it sets up a situation where the main character, played by Mikkelsen, is basically accused of something with extremely minimal evidence, and the whole town, you know, treats him horribly because of what they believe he did, and it's just a really interesting, because the guy is actually doing all the right things and being a very good person, and he just gets treated like total crap. And I thought it was a really great movie to look at something from a perspective of like being falsely accused of something. I thought it was really, really a good one. I got the booklet with that. I got the booklet. Basement Blue says Minari is a good film with Stephen Yeun in it. For some reason, I had I had Minari. I do have it, and I set it aside here. It's funny that you mentioned that. Here it is right here. So this has Stephen Yeun in it, however you pronounce that. Because when I was doing my shelves, I had bins of like duplicates, and for some reason this movie got in my bin of duplicates, and I definitely don't have more than one copy of this. So this actually has to go up on the shelf, but I think I have to put it up here, so I just set it aside for now. But I never watched this one. A tender and sweeping story about what roots us. Minari follows a Korean-American family that moves to an Arkansas farm in search of their own American dream. Heard good things about it, but have not watched that one yet. We'll take a look at a few other. Kenneth says, do you have the Danny DeVito movie Hoffa? I had Hoffa on DVD at some point. Does it even have a Blu-ray? Does Hoffa have a Blu-ray? So I might have the DVD in one of my, like, back when I lived at my parents' house, I had to put a lot of DVDs in I had pretty much stopped collecting movies, and I put all my DVDs in like binders, and then I like started buying movies again slowly, and then got crazy again. Who put out the Blu-ray? Yeah, don't have it. But what I do have is one of my favorite Westerns of all time, put out by Twilight Time. This will probably end up getting like a really cool... This is a Fox one, though, so who knows what's going to happen to it. It is Hombre, starring Paul Newman. I really like this one. I really like Paul Newman's character in this one. I thought this was a really, really good Western. I feel like there's some symbolism in this movie that might be overlooked and things like that stood out to me anyway, which is part of why I liked it so much. But I find quite a few Westerns entertaining, a fair amount for somewhat similar reasons. This one felt different to me, and I really liked it. And glad that I have that one. One of my favorite Westerns of all time. Hombre, starring Paul Newman. Tone Zone also says Hoffa has a Blu-ray. Columbia. Yeah, it's interesting. Usually, is it out of print? Seems like something that I haven't really come across. It's out of print, kind of said. We'll see if it gets another release. Who knows? This is another one that I felt was really underrated when I watched it. It's like a horror anthology movie, and I really liked it a lot. I don't like the cover necessarily, but I really liked it a lot. It is Ghost Stories here. Terrible lighting. Ghost Stories on Blu-ray. I was kind of blown away with how good this was. The reverse artwork, not really any better. They couldn't have done better than that, seriously. This was actually one that on you could find the DVD of this at Dollar Tree, which would have been a fantastic find. I, of course, already had the Blu-ray of it. But I really like this one. This is a really solid one. 2017, looks like they put this out. 98 minutes. It's been a few years since I watched it, but I remember it being very, very good and something that really isn't talked about a whole lot. And it does have Martin Freeman in it. It's a really good one. Hamilton Book has a version of that, I think. Of this one? Tone Zone says he's putting Ghost Stories on his watch pile. Do you own this one, Tony? Ghost Stories? I liked it quite a bit. And I'm not a huge fan of anthology horror movies necessarily. It seems like the British ones I tend to like more, which I mean, Martin Freeman's in it, so I'm thinking that's a British one. I can't remember. But I've seen some of their other ones, and I don't remember the title. I remember one was a Warner Archive British horror anthology movie, and that was really, really good too. I'd have to look into to figure out what it is, but it was a really good one. Like I said, put out by Warner Archive. Tony says, I own it. I try to prioritize what I watch based off someone else speaking about it. Gotcha. Another really good one, which, again, I don't remember a ton from it. I just remember really liking it a lot. This is an Arrow Video, kind of a mind bender, kind of a Lynchian type of thing. It is The Ghoul here on Blu-ray from Arrow Video. This is one where I think I started and I was like, this is going to be like boring, or this is going to be too weird. I'm not going to be able to get into it. And then I found myself hooked. And like I said, it's a weird one. It's kind of like a David Lynch type of thing, you know, something like that, like a modern kind of weird David Lynch type of thing. But it is a really good one, and one that I don't remember enough to get into a whole lot of detail about it, but I remember liking it a lot. The Ghoul, and I really didn't have super high expectations for it. So, very good one there. This one got a 4K from Blue Underground. I don't know that I need the 4K of it, but I was kind of blown away when I watched the Blu-ray, and if it, I did see the 4K for a really good price, I might get it. It is God Told Me To here on Blu-ray. We got to get the right lighting. God Told Me To. I really like this one also. This is, to me, it seemed like an underrated horror movie. What is this from, like the 70s maybe? I'm trying to find the year on it. 75. I really like this one. I feel like it's not talked about a whole lot, but this is a really good 70s horror movie. Underrated. Check that one out. Isn't Arrow having a sale, says Kenneth? I'm not sure. Tone Zone says God Told Me To's good. Yeah, it is really good. Arrow has, Arrow, like a lot of these companies, has a fair amount of sales. I got a lot of Arrows years ago when the sales were better, the shipping was better, the shipping prices were better, the prices were lower. So I was able to get a lot of Arrows for 11 to, I think I was paying like $10.80 during sales. That would be like kind of my average, so around like 10, $11, but I don't think you can get them that cheap anymore. And I don't think their releases are as good either. Their movies, their releases, as far as the quality of the releases, is probably fine, but the movies aren't necessarily that great that they're putting out. And I don't need everything on 4K either. Even some of my favorites, like the Argento movies, like the Blu-rays that they put out in those limited editions are really good. I don't need them on 4K. Mark says, Prey movie coming out in October. Are you going to buy? Ken says yes. He pre-ordered. It looks pretty expensive, doesn't it? As far as that, I don't need to necessarily pay pre-order price or whatever, but I'll get it eventually. Let's see. Tone Zone says B&N still has the Arrow sale going on. To me, the advantage of the Barnes & Noble Arrow sale, which I have purchased a few from them over the years, but not many, you can actually go in the store and they might not have a ton of them, but you can get, one in good condition. Whereas if you buy it online, I find that Barnes & Noble shipping practices aren't very good. I think they use like the same shipping company as like Target and stuff, and they don't take very good care of the items and stuff like that. So you could get one that's dinged up. So I think you can wait. You could wait, get Arrows for less than $15 at the right time, or you can go ahead, pay about $20 or whatever, pay like the half off price and get them from Barnes & Noble. I think if you order enough items from Barnes & Noble, Target, Best Buy might even use the same shipping company. You could get a box and it's more likely not to be damaged. But they'll use those like tight cardboard things where it's just like the cardboard pieces over the thing, and that'll almost always, pretty much always ding up slipcovers and stuff like that. Unless, Arrow does use like the plastic over the slipcover, which is good. That really helps. And the plastic that Arrow uses too is kind of a thicker plastic than like a Shout Factory. Which Shout Factory is kind of, some of their sets and stuff are good, but really like their slipcovers aren't necessarily high quality. Their cases aren't high quality. And when you have a case that's not high quality, a slipcover is not high quality, the plastic going over it isn't high quality, the chances of it getting damaged is much higher. So Another movie that I've talked about several other times, but I really feel like it's underrated. I think it's a good movie. Good action movie. It is Dead Man Down here. I'm not a huge Colin Farrell fan, but he's good in this. I do like Numi Rapace, however you say her name. I do like her quite a bit. So I thought this was a really good action movie, and again, one that I need to watch again. I've probably seen it at least twice before, but I could definitely watch this one again. So I'll set that aside here. Has anybody seen Dead Man Down? Directed by Niels Arden Uplev. No idea who that is or what else he's directed. Dead Man Down, anybody? That's a good one. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Not getting much breeze through here tonight. It's pretty warm. Doesn't look like anybody has anything to say for Dead Man Down. This one's more of a dramedy, but one that I really enjoy. Steve Carell. This is when Steve Carell was pretty big. I think he had already, he was in The Office. He was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. He was in Dan in Real Life. And this was a really good one. A really nice mix of emotional type of stuff, relationship stuff, I guess a single father going through a hard time, and really liked it. Really liked how it blended the drama, the family stuff, and the comedy. Really good one, Dan in Real Life. Really entertaining movie there. On Blu-ray. This is Arrow Video has put out several 2-packs. Let's see here. Trent TV says, "What's good? Been a while since I watched your stuff, but I'm active on your Instagram post." Sounds good, Trent. Welcome to the live. So this one's a 2-movie set. They've released several of these where they're limited editions. It has one newer movie and then like older movie from that director, and it is Dementor is the main feature on this. Jugface, aka the Pit, is the extra movie. So I really liked Jugface. I thought it was a really great low budget movie. Dementor, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure I watched it, but I actually don't remember it. On her path to recovery, she takes on a job in care of center supporting adults with special needs, among them Stephanie, a woman with Down syndrome, convinced the devils are coming for Stephanie and tormented by flashbacks of her experience within the cult. And with their leader, Larry, Katie takes increasingly extreme measures to ward off the evil that is making Stephanie sick. I think it was pretty good. I actually don't remember that one too much, but I definitely, out of this 2-pack, I thought Jugface was the real winner. Really good movie, something that I don't see talked about, and I really liked it. So, glad to get that. I don't like some of these, indie horror movies, recent indie horror movies that like Scream Factory put out, Arrow put out. Some of them are real, they're not that great, and then some of them will kind of blow my mind. Like, I feel like I've really hit like a gem that nobody knows about once in a while. Up next, another one that I have talked about before. This was put out by Well Go. Another really underrated movie that I think is absolutely fantastic. It is Freaks, here on Blu-ray with Slippity Dippity. Slippy Dippy from 2018. This is like a family with special powers, especially focused on the young girl. And it was kind of like almost like an X-Men kind of thing from what I remember. Again, I would probably have to watch it again. It's been a few years, But I thought it was a really, really good movie. Tone Zone also says he loved Freaks. Yeah, this is a really good underrated one. You really don't hear about these movies unless they're like a big mainstream movies. You barely hear about them, I feel like. Up next, we got a recent horror movie. This was put out by a major studio. This was put out by Universal Focus Features, and it does star Gillian Jacobs. She would be like the biggest actor or actress in this. It is Come Play here on Blu-ray. I think, again, this one's pretty underrated. I thought this had a really good story to it. It was pretty intense, pretty good movie. I really liked it. And I tend to, especially like the mainstream studio horror movies, not usually that good. I thought this one was quite solid. I go for the horror movies with a good story, and I felt like this one had it. I feel like that's missing from a fair amount of them. I'm not going for like the scares or the gore. I'm going for a good, interesting story, which this one had. I believe this, if I remember correctly, this movie had kind of like metaphor, like a technology aspect, a metaphor for like loneliness and using technology to deal with loneliness, but actually technology is cause more loneliness. But I can't totally remember that. My memory isn't that great, but I kind of remember that kind of thinking that theme kind of went along with that movie. We got a few more movies, two of which are considered pretty bad, but are kind of just movies that I kind of enjoy, even though they might not be great. This one got absolutely horrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like 8%. I think I went into it just trying to enjoy it. And I do like Aaron Eckhart. It is I, Frankenstein. Probably pretty much everybody thinks this movie is horrible. I like the mythology of it and stuff. It was, like kind of an underworld ripoff sort of thing, but I just kind of try to enjoy it for what it is, which when you're watching a movie, that's really what you should try to do. If you overanalyze the movie, I think you're going to ruin it. But if you try to enjoy it for what it is, you might get some enjoyment out of it, even if it's not the greatest movie ever. But I like this one, actually, and it's definitely been several years since I've seen it, but wouldn't mind rewatching it. And I might rewatch it and say, I like this movie? What was I thinking? But I remember liking it quite a bit. I, Frankenstein. This one's actually just a good movie here. I got this from Amoeba in California when me and Charmy went there. It is The Awakening here with Rebecca Hall, which she's a very good actress. This is like a haunted school. Does she go to like a school? It seems like. Also starring Dominic West and Imelda Staunton. It is a terrifying mystery filled with haunting twists that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Really good one, underrated. The Awakening here on Blu-ray. Rebecca Hall's good. She was also in another movie. It was like stuff with her husband. That was a really good one too. That was a recent movie. I forget the name of it. I have it here somewhere in the collection. Tone Zone says The Awakening was great. And this is another one where I think it probably got horrible ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. But I think they could really do something pretty cool with the story. So again, I don't know that it's a great movie, but for what it is, got entertained by it. It is the Mortal Instruments City of Bones, which is also like a YA TV show that they made out of this too. I think it's called like Shadow something. Shadow Hunters, I believe it's called. Which they really could make those pretty good, but it's such like a CW type of show, and it really, you know, goes towards like the teen audience, but kind of like an interesting premise, but they didn't really necessarily do enough with it. Trend TV, so I'm curious how you can reach certain movies when you have higher shelves. Yeah, I mean, really the only issue I have would be like some of the very top ones at the very top there, but I have a little, where did it go? Maybe my wife took it out of here. I have a little like step stool thing I can use if I need to get up there, but I can mostly get to them. I am pretty tall too, so I can mostly get to what's up there. So, I mean, the shelves aren't super tall, really. Let's take this off the stand here. So, we look way to the top here. I mean, I can, on my tiptoes, I can get way up. So, really, even this top one here, I can get it. It's just, I can get pretty much anything, really. Putting it back might sometimes be more difficult, but depending where I am, yeah, I can get most of these. I can reach up there, so not too bad. Any other thoughts, questions? I have to put this drink aside because I really don't want to kick it over and sticky crap being all over my movies. That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good at all. Yeah, I have a step stool too, like I said, but I think it was I think my wife might have taken it out. Maybe I don't remember taking it out. Somebody took it out. It's a ghost on PMac movies. It was old people who lived here before, and apparently, especially the husband, he was super OCD apparently, from what my neighbors tell me, and kind of a dick. So if he was like haunting this place, he'd be a dick ghost, I'll tell you, from the sounds of it. The most watched movie out of my collection. I don't really watch stuff more than once, so movies that I've seen quite a bit would probably be movies that I watched a lot when I was a kid, like Masters of the Universe. I rented many, many times when I was in kindergarten, or my, mom rented it for me, anywho. Stuff like that. Ghostbusters I used to watch all the time, but I don't have enough time to rewatch movies really anymore. Something like Blade Runner I find very rewatchable. Trying to think. That's one that stands out. My wife I was watching the new Flash movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there were some aspects back to the old, like, late 80s, 90s Batman movies, and I was like, do you remember that? And she's like, no, what are you talking about? She has never seen, like, the old Batman movies, and it's surprising because she's seen quite a bit. Like, she'll say, oh, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that. But she, like, didn't know who, like, the Michael Keaton was Batman before. I'm like, you've never seen the 90s Batman movies? I mean, that one was late 80s, but 90s, they're basically 90s. And she's like, no, so I think I'm going to be breaking out my 4Ks of the Batman movies here. See if I can, I don't know, something. We'll see if she wants to watch them. We'll see. She should want to watch them. They're good movies. My battery is apparently under 20%, which should last a little bit longer. Blade Runner is a good movie. We need to talk about Kevin. Sounds like an intense drama. Basement Blues. I watched that one last month. That was something else. Taking a look at some of my multi-packs here. A lot of movies on these that I need to watch. Good value here. The Girls Rule collection, because you could get this quite cheap if you buy it at the right time. And I believe it has a separate code for all 3 movies. You have Mean Girls, Clueless, and She's the Man. You like those collections where you get a code for each separate movie. You beer. I believe Tone Zone was talking about the movie with Rebecca Hall that I showed, not the Robin Williams movie, I believe. I have this, this was one of my most expensive purchases, which I still haven't watched. This Thriller set, because it was like, it was going to sell out, so I needed to get it. It was like, how much was that? Like $55 or something? Awakenings, the Robin. I do have Awakenings, but I have not seen it all. So that's Robert De Niro, right? I don't know if I've ever watched all of She's the Man. Possibly. Possibly years ago. I hear sounds outside. I don't know what the hell it is. Almost sounds like fireworks. Awakenings. I wonder if I can find it on the shelf. Let's see here. It should be on the shelf. Now if I can't find it, I'm going to be bothered. I see the light. Awakenings. The Accountant's a really good movie. I was just watching another Ben Affleck movie, a recent one. Some hypnosis or hypnotic or something like that. It was interesting. Nothing great. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that Awakenings movie on my show. I'm pretty sure I have it. I don't even know what that movie's about. Hopefully it didn't get lost wherever my RIPD 3D is. It blows my mind how I cannot find. I had 2. I'm like quite sure I had 2 copies of RIPD 3D. Final Cut. That is an interesting one. That never got. Did that ever get a Blu-ray? I think that just got a DVD. We have The Awakening, starring Charlton Heston. The Awakening. Yes, Tone Zone, it is quite frustrating. That Awakening, though, with probably if I could put this phone down and focus, maybe I'd have a better chance of finding it, but I'm not seeing Awakenings. I kind of remember seeing it. Hopefully I put it on the shelf. I don't see why I wouldn't have. Huh. There it is up there. Gonna have a breakdown. So here's Awakenings, starring Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. Put out by Image Entertainment. Robin Williams plays a doctor in that one. Interesting. We'll probably finish this up soon. Maybe I'll go watch a movie. You guys watching anything tonight? What are you gonna watch? Guys watching anything tonight? You know, because I've been working on the movie room. The Flash ended up being the first movie I finished in nearly I think the last time I finished a movie was I believe on my Letterboxd it was like July 28th. So almost exactly a month since I like actually watched a movie. I did try watching like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a bunch of times, but it was always like, you know, after work or something at night where I'd fall asleep. And I think I probably tried watching some other stuff too, but just always fell asleep. Yeah. Lost After Dark. I'm gonna have to look up what that is. You know, some of the worst, Criterion puts out some of the worst packaging. I mean, we're talking like Mill Creek level, like just stupidity. The way they package the Godzilla box set is so ridiculously stupid. I just can't imagine, because it's in like these little tight little circle things, and it'll fall in like what's that game where you put the pieces in and you got like the Connect 4? It's like Connect 4 type of thing for the freaking discs, and it'll fall through the thing and get this glue shit all over it. And this is like you know, the MSRP of this set's over $200, and it's just it's asinine how they packaged it. I mean, you gotta wonder who comes up with these ideas to package something that stupidly. Like, it blows my mind. So I had one of the discs, and I've read other people having issues like this, and the disc like fell through the little thing, so I had to like get it out of there, figure out how to get it out of there. It has like a scratch on it from it, and then it's got like this sticky shit on the disc. It's so it's ridiculous. To whoever thought that was a good idea to package it like that, and then that Wong Kar-wai, is that his name? That set is packaged so stupidly. Like, they must have been having a competition. Who in this company can come up with the stupidest packaging? And whoever put the Godzilla set, whoever had that idea, and the Wong Kar-wai, those two were like, got to the final round. Those were like yes, we are the stupidest people at this whole company. Like, it's crazy how they came up with such horrible packaging. It blows my mind. Anyway, I was gonna look up that movie that Tone Zone mentioned. Lost After Dark. Anchor Bay Entertainment. Like a teenage horror. Is this like a slasher type of thing? Cannibal killer living inside? Ooh, that sounds nice. Yummy. Supercell. I have no idea what Supercell is. action drama. Storm Chaser. He's becoming a storm chaser. Skeet Ulrich is in it. He's a good one. Or Ulrich. So I think we're gonna finish this up. I think I might go and watch maybe Assassins, Sylvester Stallone. I think that might be in the Blu-ray player downstairs. I think I'm going to try it. I've seen it before, but it's been a few years, so I don't really remember it. So I think I'm going to go watch some Sylvester Stallone, some 90s. That's a 90s one, I would think, Sylvester Stallone. But I hope everybody has a good night. Hope you enjoyed the PMac Movies live video. We'll see you next time on PMac Movies. PMac out. Good night, Tone Zone. Good night, everybody. Good night, Tone Zone. Good night. What's Trent say when I see your post on Instagram? When I see certain titles I looked up and had to save for later on Amazon. Good idea. There you go, Trent. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good night.